Hi, my name is Shoshana Spiegel, and I knew that I wanted to submit a quilt for the 2011 Sacred Threads show, and I debated quite a while about what I wanted to do. I kept coming back to an idea I had about my mother's history, but I kept running away from it. So by the time I figured out I was going to do that and was able to envision the quilt, it was 4 days before the deadline. So I had to abandon my usual perfectionism and just go for getting the design done. My mother's history is kind of interesting. She was a Holocaust survivor. She was one of 10,000 children who were saved by the Kindertransport, which was when England allowed children to come, not with their parents, but they took children in. And so she arrived at Liverpool Street Station and went to live with some different foster families. Eventually, she made her way to the United States in 1947, where she met my dad, and they settled in, well, she came to Cleveland and met my dad, and they settled there. So the quilt represents the fire here of the Nazi regime and the Holocaust, and then the more calm, hopefully more calm idea of going to England, where things were less intense. My mother was one of the lucky ones in that she didn't lose her whole family. Her father was taken away the day the war started because he was a very vocal journalist, and he eventually perished in Stutthof. But my mother's mother and her two sisters survived, and they tried to get into Israel through illegal immigration, and then they wound up coming back there after about a 5-year stint in Mauritius, which was a prison camp. So we were very lucky in that her whole family didn't perish, but there was a permanent separation in that her sisters and mother and all my first cousins remained in Israel. The purpose of the translucent cover here is my mother never really talked a lot about her experience. She did describe it, especially as she got older. My brothers were taking a Holocaust class in high school, and the teacher convinced her to talk about her experiences. But she never really shared her feelings about what happened. And so this translucence is like a veil that was very common in Holocaust survivors in not really wanting to talk about what happened, but protecting their children. And the name of this quilt is Facing the Past, Healing the Future. And it was my hope that by doing this, I would make it easier for future generations of my family. And by the way, this number that she's wearing was actually her number from when she left home. I was able to do the research and find that out.